Welcome to the WRC podcast. I'm your host, Katrina M, and you're in the right place. Here at the Well-Rounded Counselor podcast, what you can expect is to learn, shift your thinking, and gain personal and professional growth. And if you have not yet done so, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another podcast episode. The conversation starts now. Hey everybody, welcome back to the WRC podcast. I hope you are having a lovely week, and I'm so thankful that you decided to tune in and learn, grow, and collaborate in this space. I really believe that it is changing lives, impacting people personally and professionally, this podcast. So thank you very much. And if you're liking it and you're enjoying my content, please make sure that you just take a fraction of a second to pause this podcast and give me a 5-star review on Spotify. Every time you do that, it helps boost the algorithm so people can find this podcast organically, and it can spread the mission of just becoming well-rounded and well-rounded personally, professionally, all of the above. So today I wanted to kind of pivot and talk about something that's been on my heart for some time now. And I want to talk about the topic of how to deal with difficult people at work, difficult coworkers. If you're dealing with people on a team, that can be a bit challenging. I feel like this topic is quite relevant and many people go through this. So dealing with a difficult coworker can be challenging, and there are a lot of strategies that you can do to kind of manage these different types of situations effectively. And I'm going to go into about 9 or so. So bear with me as I go through my notes here. And I'm a little bit late today on this episode because I just feel like I debated on this topic. I debated, do I even want to talk about it? Because, you know, we all go through it from time to time. We can be dealing with a difficult person, not only at work, but difficult people in our life. And so it can impact our day-to-day interactions with other people. It can impact our counseling, how we work with our clients or our students or whoever we counsel. So again, these things have an impact on our worldview, how we show up for ourselves, and how we help others. So I felt like this topic kind of anybody can face this, and so I felt like it was important. And I know that myself in particular have faced this at multiple times in my career. So the first point I want to talk about is when a difficult situation arises, it's important to stay calm and composed. I know that I am personally struggling with this one, and some people are very good. They know how to self-regulate. They know how to not get worked up or react. I know I get a bit emotional. I don't like confrontation. I get quite teary or shaky, or my heart starts racing when somebody's creating a friction or confrontation with myself, and it's hard for me personally to stay calm. But staying calm and composed is very important when dealing with difficult people or coworkers or difficult situations. And it helps you stay in a space where you can avoid negativity or provoking more difficult behavior from the other person. So it's important for you to take deep breaths and remind yourself to approach the situation in a very professional manner. An example could be, excusing yourself from the situation. Another example could say, if you don't feel like having this debate right now, you're welcome to get up and go, and we can work on the task a bit later. It depends on the context, of course, but if you have somebody that you disagree with, if you're on a team, if you're working on a project and something kicks off, it is important to stay calm. And I know that this can probably be one of the most challenging steps, but that's why I wanted to confront it head on first. The second thing is communicate openly. When you want to address the issues we have with your coworker, it's important to have open, honest communication. And it's important to find an appropriate time and place to talk about this, because maybe something happened and that same day might not be the best time to talk about it because the emotions are quite high. So maybe you need to go home and sleep on it, or go home and get out of that work environment or get out of that space, and then, desensitize or detach from the environment that you were in that provoked a difficult situation to arise. It's important to maybe even just take a few days to just breathe from it before you even bring it up and discuss it with that person. I know that I've tried doing this in the past where I've gone home, something was kind of eating away at me, and as much as I wanted to address it straight then and there, I needed a little bit more time to process the situation and look at it from different angles and then find an appropriate time. Ask that person, is this a good time to talk with you? Is this a good time to discuss what happened last week or last Monday or whenever it happened? And just be open and clearly communicate, even write down the things that you need to say so you don't forget or feel overwhelmed rehashing or reliving the experience. So it's important to clearly communicate how their behavior or actions are affecting you specifically on the team. Number 3, you need to ask yourself, is this worth it? Am I choosing my battles wisely? Not every issue is worth confronting or escalating. You have to understand that. So when you take that time and that space, is it really worth kicking up and continuing the drama? Is it really worth it in the grand scheme of things? Is it productive use of your time? Is it productive for everybody on the team? Is it productive for your mental health, your productivity at work? You need to ask yourself, am I choosing my battles wisely? And if it's something that you can personally let go and not hold on to or harbor resentment, I think that can be very beneficial for you in the long run. You need to assess the situation and determine whether it's a significant problem that needs to be addressed or if it's something that you can let go. And it's essential to differentiate between minor annoyances or more serious conflicts. So if something is small, like somebody's just got a weird knack about them and it just bugs you, maybe you don't like the sound of their voice, or maybe they just always complain. If that's a minor annoyance, like you can kind of manage that and tune that out. But if it's disrespect and blatant rude comments, no, nobody should have to tolerate that. And that would be something considered a little bit more serious. So you need to pick and choose your battles wisely. Number 4, I want you to seek support. I know it's very important to decide if you want to handle a situation, but before you decide to handle the situation, maybe seek support from a supervisor, another coworker, manager, maybe even HR if that's a thing for you, where you can go and talk to them. Somebody that you trust ultimately and you trust their advice and their guidance. You might be able to get some valuable advice from them. Maybe they'll give you some advice to just meditate on the feedback or the steps you need to take in order to kind of handle the difficult situation or the difficult person that you are dealing with. And they can offer a lot of suggestions on how to overcome, your role in that situation, like how you could have showed up better for yourself as well. So you kind of want that feedback about what was your role, what was their role. Obviously, there's your side and the other person's side, but what could you do differently as well? And so I think that's important. Not only how do you handle the situation, but how do you show up differently and better if it happens again? Not necessarily with the same person, but anybody. So getting support from somebody is key because, again, we're not meant to be alone. We're human at the end of the day. We're meant to have community. We're meant to have friendships. We're meant to have, um, you know, uh, uh, a place where we go to work and we feel inclusive, right? So we don't want to be in an isolated little island at work. That's not healthy. So seek support and don't let yourself get to like a stage where you've isolated yourself and you just avoid the situation. Go and talk to somebody so you can hopefully rectify a disagreement or a conflict as soon as possible. Number 5, you need to establish boundaries. You need to set very, very clear boundaries with your difficult coworker to protect yourself from their negativity. Now, if they consistently engage in inappropriate behavior, like I said, they're rude to you, maybe they're just, a bit disrespectful constantly in meetings or when you have to work together, let them know that it's unacceptable and that you're not willing to put up with that you are creating a boundary, whatever that could look like. You could obviously discuss that with your boss, your line manager as well. That kind of goes back to seeking support. How can you set up those boundaries in that workplace when you have to work with that difficult person? It's also important to communicate your expectations politely. Okay. So you need to also say, hey, I know we have to work on this task together, and let's just do the best we can and do it for the greater good of, you know, XYZ. So you know that you have to remove your personal feelings working with this person to accomplish a task. It's very important that you try to remove the personal side of things and say, right, what is the goal? What is the aim of the project? And who is it going to impact? And how can I remove my personal feelings about the person that I'm having to work with, and just put the professional hat on? So you need to figure out how to manage that as well and communicate your expectations politely, but also be firm and say, I'm not willing to put up with X, Y, and Z. I'm not willing to put up with disrespectfulness, rude behavior, gossip. I'm not willing to do that. So you can choose to only engage with that person and communicate with that person when you absolutely have to. And then the rest of the time, you can distance yourself from them. That way, you create that space and those boundaries to protect your own well being. Number 6, hopefully it doesn't have to escalate to this, but always document incidents if need be. If it's a consistent thing that you're facing, documenting, keeping a record of specific incidents, interactions, or conflicts, it can help you. Again, include dates, times, a brief description of what happened. It can be useful if you need to escalate an issue later on, or you need to provide evidence of someone's behavior. Hopefully, my hope is that this person is not doing this where you have to document it. But if you're noticing a pattern, if you're noticing bad behavior from this person, mean girl attitude, or harassment of some sort. Every country has different laws. Every country has different uh, labor protection laws. So again, document incidents with a difficult coworker if you feel like that's the next appropriate step you need to do. Now, number 7, why do we go to work? To be productive, to create uh, positive outcomes, to help people. That's why we're here. This is why we're becoming a well-rounded counselor, right? We want to go to work. We want to make things happen, help people. So number 7 is focus on your work. Focus on your work. Be as productive as you can. I know when a difficult situation arises, it can be really hard for us to focus, especially right after the incident. But instead of allowing the difficult coworker to distract you or affect your productivity, concentrate on your own tasks and responsibilities. It's important that you maintain a positive attitude, you strive to create a supportive and constructive work environment for yourself and for your other colleagues. If you need to distance yourself just to kind of calm down, that's completely normal. That's completely normal. But don't let it just drain you for the rest of your day, especially if something happens first thing in the morning. Don't let that situation drain you for the next 7 to 8 hours. Again, it's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for the people around you. So again, have your pity party for a minute, go get your support, help yourself not escalate the situation, compose yourself, all of those steps that I've already mentioned, but go back to focusing on your work. If it's something that really shakes you to your core, okay, like, it happened. You have to accept it. You need to accept that something happened. You report it, you write down the incident, you talk with somebody. But again, don't let it derail your whole day where it just like you can't get anything done. That's a bit much. That's a bit ridiculous. And it's something that you need to work on. I'll be very honest with you. If you can't self regulate because somebody's done something to you at work, you need to kind of reflect on that. And you need to think about how you can work on that. Now, I'm not saying that you allow disrespect and harassment. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you can't let it just completely landslide you where you just cannot focus on anything else. If you cannot focus on anything else, go home. Take a sick day. Remove yourself from that environment. Do that for yourself. But hopefully we are mature adults, we're mature professionals, and we can self-regulate. Number 8, seek mediation. If a situation doesn't improve or keeps escalating, consider suggesting mediation from either your supervisor or somebody from HR. This can help a neutral person, this can involve a neutral person who can facilitate a productive, healthy conversation between you and the person you're having a difficult time with at work. This can help resolve any conflicts, and it can even help you improve your communication. And everybody can have a chance to speak in a very free and hopefully respectful way. Because sometimes when you have that neutral third party, it can really help people feel heard. It can also help mediate or keep ourselves a little bit more composed because there's somebody there and we just can't pop off and start saying whatever we want to say. And also, mediation doesn't always have to happen on the same day. It can happen a few days from the incident, a few weeks from the incident, but mediation can try to help resolve any conflicts that are really affecting you on the team. And number 9, this one is very important. It's self-care. Self-care. Dealing with a difficult coworker can be emotionally draining. So please, 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 please take care of yourself by practicing some sort of self-care activity outside of work. That can be reading, that can be cooking, that can be working out, spending time with your family, watching a movie, creating a podcast. It could be literally anything. So engage in hobbies regularly. Spend time with people that you love. Seek support from friends or professional. Maybe not somebody at work, but a professional in, a counseling field where they help you with your emotions and your well-being. So again, all of these are ways to help you take care of yourself if you are dealing with a difficult situation. As I mentioned earlier, every situation is going to be unique. So you're going to need to take on a different strategy according to your situation. And depending on the severity of it, you may need to take on more than one strategy to help you manage it. And it's important to kind of adapt these to suit your particular situation or take into consideration the work environment that you're in and the different personalities that are involved. Again, I know that working with people from all different backgrounds and different personalities and upbringings, especially here in Dubai, can be very difficult. It can be a lot if you're not used to that. And so you have to take a step back and not just go out and blame people. You need to really say, okay, what can I do differently? How can I understand this person better? How can I hear their side before I just say it's their fault and blame them? You need to also take some self responsibility in this as well. So I know that this can be a bit of a tricky subject. I know that I've gone through difficult situations with people at work. Some have worked out, some have not. Let's just be honest. There's just personality conflicts or styles of conflict in terms of how we work together. And that's okay. That is okay. But you need to learn how to continue working through it, um, where it doesn't affect you so bad to the point of you not liking work. It doesn't affect you to where you're not a productive person. You want to still be productive. You want to still love your job. You still want to be a part of a team or an environment that you feel included in. It's important. It's important at the end of the day. So here you have it. These are the 9 tips that I wanted to share with you on how to deal with difficult coworkers. Maybe leave me a comment down below if you enjoyed this episode, if you feel like you learned something new, if you felt this was helpful or timely for you. And I hope that the next time this arises, you can revisit this or share it with somebody that might be going through something difficult. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Before I sign off today, I just want to give you a little update. I feel like I'm getting super close to having my book ready. I'm hoping June I can release it and share it with the world. That would be super exciting. I'm in the final stages of loving, I guess, and accepting my book cover. I didn't realize like how much I would be invested and how particular I would be. And I guess when it's your first book, like anything, when it's the first time doing anything, you want to make it special. You want to make it perfect. You want to do it right. And I have no idea what I'm really doing, but I do know that I am taking my time to make sure that I'm loving it and I'm excited to share it with you all. So I think I'm getting a step closer. And if you also haven't heard, I have released a course It's called Simplifying the College Application Process from A to Z. Applying to college is easier than you think, and you can find that on Udemy. I believe they're having a sale for one more day. So yeah, go ahead and look that up on Udemy. And it's a course that can take less than 1 hour to complete. And if you know somebody who is looking to just brush up on some of their professional development, or you know somebody that's about to apply to college, it can be a really helpful course for that individual and simplify and alleviate any fear, doubt, or concerns that they might have about this process. So that's all I have for you today. And I hope you have a lovely week ahead. And I can't wait to catch you on the next episode. Did you love the episode? I hope you're feeling inspired and no longer feeling alone out there, and you're ready to evolve and become a better person. Make sure that you share this podcast or take a screenshot and post it on your social media. That's how you help spread this podcast organically, and people can find it much easier when you share, or share it with a loved one. I'm your host, Katrina Marie, and make it your mission to be a blessing in someone else's life today.